What is going on, guys? It is Powerbang. Welcome back to another video. This one's going to be a little bit different. I'm sitting in my hotel room right now in Helsinki, and we're here to do a little bit of stuff for Clash of Clans. I also did an interview with the development team, so you're going to be seeing some information on that coming out soon. But that being said, I figured why not do a little Q&A with you guys? So I posted a question to my Twitter a couple of days ago when I was flying out here and said, Q&A time in the hotel this week. Give me your questions. You guys gave me quite a few of them, so I'm going to go ahead and answer those now. The first question comes from Shajan Maya on Twitter, and he says, are you sick of people asking you when Brawl Stars will be released? Crying, laughing face. Gotta love it. So Shajan, thank you for the question, man. Honestly, it does get a little bit annoying, but at the same time, I totally understand the frustration. And for me, I feel like it's a good thing that people are that amped up about the game. Personally, I love it. I feel that it's an extremely good game, but I also agree with Supercell's decision to delay on the release. It's not quite ready. There needs to be more content, just like what they said in their interview. As somebody who plays it, I felt like I breezed through the actual content that's available pretty quickly. Granted, I am a dirty gemmer, and I did spend a little bit of money to get there, but still, that doesn't bode well for their eventual monetization and longevity of the game if you're able to basically finish and beat the game very, very quickly. There's a lot of little things that they need to tweak and work out before this thing goes live. I feel like they definitely need the ability to have replays. They need the ability to have like friendly challenges and the ability to like arrange matchups with other teams. Those types of features have to go in before they get to a global launch. So we'll see what's upcoming in the future updates. And for those of you guys wanting it on Android, wanting it on global, I hear you. I've relayed it. They also are very well aware that you guys are patiently or not so patiently waiting for the release of Brawl Stars. Our next question comes from Alonzo on Twitter. He says, do you think there is a solution to engineering now that the matchmaking fix, in quotes, didn't quite work? Now, Alonzo, that's a great question, and that's actually one that I discussed at length with the Clash of Clans community manager in our interview that should be coming out soon on the Clash of Clans YouTube channel. It's basically a dev Q&A, but to give you guys a synopsis of kind of like what was said, it's nothing that they haven't published already. The matchmaking quote-unquote fix was not a silver bullet. It was not an end-all be-all to the matchmaking issues. What they did was they changed the way that the algorithm and the matchmaking actually work and made it so that they can make tweaks over time. So if things aren't actually working the way they should, they can make adjustments on the fly. They can do this very, very frequently, even as often as daily, to try to bring things back into balance. But one thing that you're probably not going to see are large sweeping changes one way or the other. And I think that's probably a good thing because you don't want the pendulum to swing from one side all the way to the other as far as like taking, days or something to match up due to uneven matchups. Now, I get the fact that uneven matchups and engineered clans are extremely annoying to go up against. Hopefully they come up with a better solution soon. It's definitely not where it needs to be. I've noticed that the matchups have been even potentially worse since the quote-unquote fix, but it's something they're aware of. It's their top priority. It's something they're working on. Our next question comes from George, also from Twitter. He says, when do you think Brawl Stars will go global, and will you post more when it comes? That's a good question. I kind of touched a little bit earlier on what I feel the game needs in order to go global, and those are pretty major things. Like, in addition to just more content, like more brawlers, more game modes, the ability to play with your friends and arrange matchups to go head-to-head so we can actually structure events and organize play, leagues, tournaments, all these kinds of things. I feel that that's necessary before the game goes out. Now, there are instances in the past that you can look at, for example, Clash of Clans. There really weren't too many clans clashing until 2 years into the game or so when Clan Wars came out. Before that, it was simply individual players kind of on a quest and doing their little daily loot collecting. And I think they want to avoid some of the, I don't want to call them mistakes that have been made in the past, but things that were very obviously lacking in a particular game. They want to add that and make it a really solid game that's going to be around for years before launch. To answer your question on if I'll post it more when it comes out, probably yes, absolutely, because honestly, it's the game I'm playing most right now. It's extremely fun for me, and I know that everybody that has played it has had pretty positive feedback on it. I can't say everybody, but everybody that I've talked to, the circle of friends that I run with, even my brother-in-law downloaded it because he moved to Canada really quickly, downloaded it from the App Store. No, not really. I gave him instructions on how to download download Brawl Stars on his phone. He downloaded it, and he's not a mobile game player, but he was instantly hooked, and now he's playing Brawl Stars on his mobile phone. So definitely plan to post more when it comes. I want to post regularly because I do intend to be one of the big Brawl Stars creators, if that's something that's doable on YouTube. And at the same time, I don't want to post it so often that it's just annoying people that they can't play it yet, if that makes sense. So good question, George. Thank you very much. Miles Lee Media has the next question. He asks, when will there be a new Clash update? It's been a while since we got a game-changing update to the home village. Builder base sucked. Now, Miles, I don't necessarily think that builder base sucks, but I think it's lacking an absolute ton in order to make it a viable thing for a lot of people. For me, builder base as a concept and the actual attacking of builder base was fun. That was just my personal opinion on it. But for me, it got boring and stale fairly quickly because there is no way to socialize or interact with the community or a team or arrange anything or do any events. There's no aspect of that on the builder base. You're pretty much there completely solo, and that is something that doesn't necessarily interest me. I play games to interact with people and to basically structure competition and have fun. And there's no way to do that currently in Builder Base, and that's something that I thought they would follow up with shortly after the initial launch of Builder Base. Very surprising to me that that hasn't come out as of yet. Now, in regards to, the home village and not having anything come out for a while, absolutely 100% in agreement. To me, the game feels, I don't want to say stale, but kind of. I mean, it's been the same forever. I literally can't remember the last time there was an update to the home village, nor can I remember what that was. So that to me is a problem. I feel like they need to get on, something soon for the main village. I do know that they are working on some big stuff for the main village. Stay tuned to the interview that I had with Supercell. They might drop some hints in that particular interview, but I don't necessarily want to do it on my channel. That being said, I really hope they get something out soon for the home village. Stay tuned for more information. Thanks, Miles. A Square Gaming asks, what are some other games you'll play full-time other than COC and BS in the recent future? In the near future, I will be playing a few other games. I'm always dabbling, guys, as somebody that's in the mobile game industry, and especially in my position at PlexChat, where I do work in the mobile gaming community. I have a responsibility to know what games are out there, what's good, what's coming, what's not good, all of that type of stuff. So I'm playing different games all of the time. Now, that being said, I don't really make commitments to play something full-time unless I absolutely fall in love with it. There are some games that I definitely will be trying out and seeing how that goes, but I can't tell you that they're going to be a full-time endeavor at this point in time. It's kind of a wait and see how things go. I am going to give Lineage a try when that comes out. You guys saw the recent video I put out on that on my channel. And I also know that I'll be playing Arena of Valor when that comes out. It's a new game by Tencent. It's literally probably the highest grossing game in the world. It was basically outperforming Clash Royale and Clash of Clans combined when it was only launched in China. That to me is mind-blowing, so I definitely am going to check that out. It's a 5v5 MOBA, and I'm excited to see that come out here in North America. All right, John from Twitter asks, when you get flown to Finland, are you not allowed to talk about which game or update they're flying you in to help with? Hope it's Clash of Clans. Now, that's a great question, John. It depends on the situation. Sometimes I get flown out here for super top secret stuff, and I get access to information that is not public and will not be public for quite some time. In those particular scenarios, no, I'm not supposed to talk about that and let, hundreds of thousands of people know what exactly is coming because it's still being, fleshed out. There could be changes. Or it's just a secret and they want to make the announcement themselves. Totally understandable. Now, when I do get flown out here for certain events, oftentimes they are not secrets. It's something that I can talk to you guys about. And it seems as though as time goes on, they're getting a little bit more lax on I can say that I'm coming here. I can say what I'm doing here. I can drop a little hint as to what's coming. So, it really is situational. It depends on why I'm here for that particular trip. There's no blanket statement for what I'm supposed to say and what I'm not supposed to say. So that's a great question. As for this trip, I'm here. I was doing an interview with the Clash of Clans development team. I was meeting with some community managers for all games for Supercell. And then I also am participating in a live stream for Clash of Clans. Kevin Spur asks, where do you see Clash going in the future? Do you think there will be more competitive competitions, e.g. different war leagues for lesser? I don't know where he's going with the end of that, but to kind of speculate on what he's asking here, where do I see Clash going in the future? And do I think there's going to be more competitions or different war leagues, et cetera, et cetera? As far as I can tell, the Clash of Clans team and Supercell in general very much values a small, tight-knit team. So I don't see the ability for Supercell as an entity to be creating leagues and things that are going to take staffing and resources to manage. I don't see them doing that in-house. Now, I do see them supporting other people that are doing this, as an initiative of their own in the community. I do see Supercell rallying behind those people and supporting them in order to bring awesome stuff for the Supercell community. So I don't necessarily see Supercell helping out directly, but indirectly, absolutely. In game, I do think that there is necessary a new feature or functionality or something to get Clash to a little bit more team-based, play. Smaller wars, quicker. They made some changes a little bit with friendly challenges, or friendly wars. And I feel like they could expand on that a little bit and make it like a formalized, separate state of war. That's something that I've wanted to see for a long time, because you guys know I love Clash of Clans to death. And I've always wanted it to go to like an esports type of level. But due to the current configuration of the game and the way wars take, 48 hours essentially, you can modify the prep days a little bit. But just the way things are, we're never going to see it get to the point where we want to see it get to in the competitive community. And I really hope they can make some changes to the game before it's too late. Our next question comes from JDCRDSTRY Kurtstreet. I don't know. Sorry, JD, if I screwed your name up. Anyways, he asked, will you be paying Clash Royale on YouTube? Now, yes, I'll be paying Clash Royale because I have bought a card or two here or there. Will I be playing Clash Royale on YouTube? Probably not. Now, I'd never want to rule anything out 100%, but when Clash Royale, to give you guys a little background on my opinion on Clash Royale, I do play it. I've played it since launch. Now, there were long periods of times where I'd never opened the game, never touched the game. When it first came out, global launch 2016, I was not a fan of the game. I felt it was way too pay to win. I wasn't a fan of just kind of like the mechanics of the game, the way things were. I wasn't passionate about it at all. Now, I did think it was okay. I felt it had potential. And over time, it began to grow on me. So I did start to play a little bit more. Once I got a few legendary cards unlocked, I was like, okay, this is actually kind of fun. And then when they started lowering the prices of things and making them attainable for the average person, I felt like, okay, this is okay. So my stance on Clash Royale has definitely lightened over the course of the past year or so. But that being said, I don't feel that I could personally bring anything to the YouTube community that isn't already existing somewhere else. So I'm not trying to come in and step on somebody's toes. A lot of the things that I would bring to the table are my relationships with pros, with networking and stuff. And you can find all of that over on my boy Clash with Ash's channel. So no, I probably won't be covering it on the channel. But again, never say never. I don't know. There could be a dark time where I just get sucked into the Clash Royale universe. But, I don't see it happening for right now. I do play 2v2 all the time, though, with my 7-year-old son. He is a Clash Royale. I don't want to call him an addict, but he plays a lot. And he always comes down when I'm done with work and says, Dad, we play 2v2 with me. How can you say no? So anyways, that's my spiel on Clash Royale. All right, the follow-up to that question is from CWA Mobile Gaming, Clash with Ash himself. He asked through Twitter, do you regret not covering Clash Royale? You dirty dog, you would ask me that. As somebody who moved into the Clash Royale YouTube scene when it first launched, Ash, your channel has grown tremendously. Big fan of what you do, and you have some of the best content out there in that game. So if you guys are Clash Royale fans and for some reason you have no idea who Ash is, you, for one, have been living under a rock, but two, go check out his channel. You guys can find that on my suggested channels on my YouTube page. That being said, he asked if I regret not covering Clash Royale. That's a little bit of a tricky question. Obviously, you guys, anybody that pays attention to YouTube, that pays attention to people's growth, to their success on the platform, essentially, knows that Clash Royale is I don't want to say a gold mine because that's all relative, but as far as like channel growth, Clash Royale is an extremely huge catalyst for massive growth on the YouTube platform. Now, do I regret missing out on that? A little bit, but not all that much. I always try to bring content that I am passionate about to the channel. Now, if I don't feel strongly about something as far as like, this is a good game, right? Like if I play something new and I feel like it's a good game, I'll cover it on the channel. I get offers all the time that I turn away because I just don't think the game is good. Like if I think it's crap, I'm just not going to put it on the channel. And it's not that I thought Clash Royale was crap, but it wasn't my bag of tea when it first came out. I kind of touched on this in the last answer, but it just wasn't for me, and I didn't feel comfortable bringing that to the channel at the time. Now, do I regret it? Slightly, just due to channel growth and the fact that this is my livelihood. But again, I have to be 100% behind what I'm actually producing in order to feel happy with myself. So that's the honest to God answer. So great question. I wish I could have doubled in size as you have since we started covering the game. But at the same time, man, I'll catch you at some point. Our next question is from Tassin Islam. He says, from which team's invitation are you visiting Finland? COC, CR, Boom, Brawl Stars. That's a great question. Typically when I come out to Finland, I'm meeting with more than one team. At a minimum, COC and Brawl Stars. This particular trip, I've been speaking with Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, as well as Brawl Stars, and even a little bit with Boom Beach. So I can't tell you guys everything that's being discussed, as a lot of it's protected by a non-disclosure agreement. But at the same time, I am talking to the gamut of folks here at Supercell, and it's definitely some exciting stuff on the way in all of their games. KFC asks, do you think it's a mistake for many war players to neglect playing builder base, given that it would take one gear up being overpowered for a war to suffer? That's a great question, KFC. He's basically pointing out that a lot of war players specifically are neglecting the builder base. They're simply not participating in it, not leveling it up. And in order to look at like the main base where those gear up options right now haven't made a big difference, what if at some point they get a buff? Or what if a new gear up comes and it requires some sort of maxed out defense at Builder Hall 8? Well, that's a long ways out for somebody that hasn't played at all. It could be to the point where if they're a free-to-play player, it's going to take 6 months of grinding in order to even unlock that option. Now, personally, KFC, I don't feel that there's anything out there that's going to be overpowered enough or strong enough to warrant an absolute must-play situation on the builder base. I still feel that that's personal preference, and I don't see anything strong enough to make it so I feel like I have to play this to be competitive. I just don't see that happening. Now, there are some scenarios where in the future they may test out mechanics that work on the builder base, move them to the main base, and vice versa. But again, we'll have to play that one by ear and see what's coming. But as for now, I don't feel like war is going to suffer as a result of neglect of the builder base. Next up, we've got Timbit, and he asks, do you think there is an esport future in Brawl Stars? Now, that's a great question and one that I'm very, very acutely interested in. I have a massive interest in esports. I have a passion for esports. I was personally a pro player back a long time ago, before any of you kids were probably born. But no, seriously, like early 2000s, I was a Counter-Strike pro. And those days are long gone, but I have been at the top of the mobile ecosystem in multiple games ever since. And I'm very interested in still not necessarily pursuing myself, but being involved in some capacity with esports on mobile. That's a big time passion of mine, and I want to drive that forward in any way I can. In order to see that in Brawl Stars, first we're going to see the game. It's got to go global, right? We need to see the game get to the global launch before we can anticipate any sort of esports. But that being said, I've talked to the Brawl Stars team, and they are very, very much so paying attention to the esports component of this. The game itself is intuitively, or it's competitive, right? Like that's kind of the point of the game. It's team versus team. And that's kind of the crux of a solid esport. And the team sizes are also manageable. You've got 3 versus 3, really manageable stuff. And it could be even more manageable in the future or even more exciting. So we'll have to wait and see what exactly is coming. But as for the esports aspect, it's definitely on the radar of the team. It's definitely on my radar. And I don't feel that if they put out the game, if they do add things like replays, add things like spectating, add things like friendly challenges, or the ability to arrange battles, there is no way that this will not go esports. Even if they don't directly support it, as I kind of talked about earlier, this will definitely be adopted by the community, and they will esports it up on their own. Guys, thank you so much for submitting all of your questions via Twitter. I had a great time answering them. Unfortunately, I do have to run down to the hotel lobby. I've got a breakfast meeting that I've got to get to, so I'm out of time for the day. I'm going to be editing this footage on the bus. We're on our way to a different city. It's a 2-hour drive away, so I've got some time. Gonna edit this up, try to get it uploaded, find an internet connection. This trip has been all about trying to figure it out. Apologies for the delay in upload. I did miss a day. I'm sorry for that, but with jet lag and travel and just the crazy busy nature of these trips, I just couldn't get to it. Had 2 hours of sleep in the last couple of days, but I'm getting back in the saddle, baby. So we're gonna get this edited. We'll get it up online for you guys to enjoy. That being said, if you guys have any more ideas for videos in the future, feel free to ask me. Let me know what you thought of this video, the Q&A portion of it. I'm out of here for now. This is Powerbang. Signing out till next time, guys. Take care.